We are leaving beautiful Washington today for warmer latitudes. I still can't get over the amazing beauty of the West Coast.
So we are traveling on Highway 84 south towards Boise. We're just getting into the city and we're just outside of Caldwell, and as it would happen, we blew a tire and it couldn't wait 20 miles until we got into Caldwell.
One of our first stops is at Grande Hot Springs RV Resort in Grande, Oregon. This spot is beautiful. The springs, vegetation, and fish, wow. Even with some big hills to the south, we are still able to get some great satellite reception, and our T-Mobile internet is moving right along. It is just a couple of miles off of 84, but with easy access. We packed up early to get a quick start on our travel day, hoping to get into Idaho, which would give us plenty of time to relax before some normal doctor's appointments back in Arizona. You just have to schedule them so far out anymore. crossed into Idaho, 7 miles in as a matter of fact, and then it happened. 3 years in this rig with tires we were promised by the dealer that were top tier.
Stuff happens, right?
Yeah, stuff happens.
Well, we're on Highway 84, just on the outskirts of getting into Caldwell by about maybe 20 miles. And we heard a pop, looked back and I could see pieces of tire coming out from under the RV. And then about a minute and a half later, the TPMS goes off, but we were already pulling over. The only problem is it's kind of a soft shoulder, so we can't get too far off with a little bit of a drop off. We don't want to chance the RV getting in trouble. So it looks like we're going to have to call for some aid to help us get the tire changed. We'll post you on a little more as we get more info. Thanks, guys. Now, we thought that we had everything we needed for just such an occasion, but come to find out, some of those things just didn't work. And of course, when something happens, it's never right when you pull out of traffic into a rest stop, does it? A big shout out to the deputy, actually a sergeant no less, that stayed and used his cruiser lights to provide a traffic break for us until we could get road service out to put our spare on. LEOs, law enforcement officers, you rock.
4 hours later.
Not only was the spot extremely dangerous to be working on a tire on the driver's side, you know, freeway traffic at 70 miles per hour, and a soft shoulder with a drop-off on the passenger side. So Shelley called for roadside assistance from Good Sam. Being the proactive 911 dispatcher she is, she also notified the local sheriff's office to help with traffic control so we could minimize getting clipped by freeway traffic.
Well, it took the tow truck how long to get here? And it's not even a tow truck.
Our 10-ton bottle jack was just too tall to fit under the springs U-bolts on the axle because the flat lowered it. Duh. We also found out that the ramp that we bought just wouldn't work because of the amount of flex or travel our suspension has. Now, here's something I bet you may or may not have known. Google and many other mapping systems like Garmin, we have both, don't give mile markers, and the first thing most emergency services ask for on a freeway incident is your location, meaning road, freeway, direction of travel, and you got it, closest mile marker. Yeah, I used to log them in my head every time we'd pass one, but have gotten kind of lax in my old age, I guess. Shelley to the rescue. She had found an app, iPhone and Android, that gives your milepost to the 1/10 of a mile, anywhere in the U.S. You ought to consider getting it. Sure can save you a big headache later. As soon as you open it, it pegs your location and you can tell the dispatcher right where you're at. Amazing. The only way we can get the flat off is to use the RV's hydraulic leveling system. And if you're careful, you can do it by using the manual feature. We had to disconnect so as not to stress the system, the pin box, and the truck. But it worked. serviceman showed up with a 20-ton low-profile bottle jack and an electric, battery-operated impact wrench. We zipped the wheel and destroyed tire off, and we lowered and mounted the spare. Now we have no spare. Reconnected the rig, thanked the deputy, collected our cones, and slid back into traffic. For what it's worth, never comment about how sucky it would be to get another flat without a spare. So when it comes to tires, ours were only 3 years old, about what others on YouTube say is the average life expectancy for ST or special trailer tires, and we were planning to upgrade after we got back to Arizona. So it is true, either you can pay now or pay later.
Can I pay tomorrow?
Can you pay or? "6 miles out of Caldwell, Idaho. Should have kept my mouth shut."
Well, guys, when it rains, it pours. Take a look at this. We got 15 miles, and then the one really good tire blew, and before we could get off the road, it had damaged the side of the RV and destroyed the rim.
Well, we're back in the car again.
Oh, at least you're out of the tree.
It does kind of look like this road has a rough time for tires, with pieces of rim and tires everywhere. Yeah, that's the first one that went right there.
3 hours later.
This time, a commercial tire service and his truck came out. He picked up our first rim, the undamaged one, and took it back to a shop to put on a new 14-ply tire, then came back out to remove and replace the damaged rim. When he got the destroyed rim off, we found that the tire belts, carcass or alligator, had wedged around the axle between the brake plate and the springs.
do that?
I told him I was gonna get the floor jack from the shop, but then I was like, no, he's not gonna do that.
It took 45 long minutes with a 6-foot pry bar to free it and put the replacement on.
It's a good idea.
That didn't go as planned, huh?
While I was supervising, Shelley had made reservations at the Ambassador RV Resort in Caldwell, 6 miles away. They were very nice and had given us our space number over the phone. We arrived at about 11:30 p.m. I called discount in the morning and was told that they could have 3 new tires in by the next morning. There goes our buffer for the appointments. We took the rig to their shop 2 days later and had 3 new skins put on the rig, including 1 extra steel rim, so we would have a spare for the rest of this journey. Man, did they struggle trying to get those 14 plies on. Little duct tape, actually Gorilla Tape, on some loose parts, and we made it to the Village of Trees RV. Another beauty right on the Snake River, and run into neighbors towing a Freedom Hauler behind their fifth wheel, and a side-by-side on top of that. Pretty slick setup.
Yeah. Get down here and show everybody what's at the backside. Wow.
we've decided to push on to Arizona and make the rest of the way without incident. So what did we learn? Well, those ramp thingies don't work for squat on our rig. Test all emergency equipment before trying to use it in an emergency. A battery-powered impact wrench would be great. A low-profile 20-ton bottle jack is in our near future. A couple of high-vis vests, a jack stand, or wooden blocks is a good idea too. China bombs should be replaced at a minimum of every 3 years, no matter what the tread depth. Balance all tires, even ST or special trailer tires. A TPMS can be of great assistance. If you don't have one, get the app Mile 1. Our tire failures were sudden and catastrophic, with no warning. We check tire pressures before each drive, no matter how short or long, and physically inspect both sides of each tire every time we stop. It can happen anytime and anywhere. Murphy is always lurking. If you tempt fate, be prepared to be smacked about by your significant other. The disintegrating tires cause considerable damage to the underside and sides of the RV. We are waiting for an estimate from our insurance company. We sure hope you've learned something from our experience. If you found this to be entertaining, informative, and/or enjoyable, please give us a like and maybe consider subscribing. Hope we get to see you again next week on Our License to Travel. So please, travel safe.